My name is Sid Stohs. I am the Dean Emeritus of the Creighton University School of Pharmacy and Health Professions located in Omaha, Nebraska. I have a background in pharmacy, biochemistry, pharmacognosy, which is also known as natural products chemistry. I have a background also in toxicology and nutrition. I have been involved in research for over 40 years and have over 350 refereed publications. In addition to being a past dean at Creighton University, I've also served as the Senior Vice President for Research and Development of a health and wellness company and have been involved in development of a series of dietary supplements. I have been involved with review, evaluation, and research of bitter orange or Citrus Aurantium for over 10 years, and I would like to visit with you about the safety and efficacy of bitter orange or Citrus Aurantium and its primary constituent, which is known as p-synephrine. Much confusion and some uncertainty has existed regarding the safety of Citrus Aurantium, partly based on structural similarities with what we refer to as biogenic amines, such as norepinephrine, epinephrine, amphetamines, m-synephrine, ephedrine, and other products. The confusion that has occurred as the result of the fact that there are some structural similarities. Unfortunately, many individuals do not understand that small changes in stereochemistry can make major changes in the receptor binding properties, which then translate into major changes and major differences in pharmacological activities. As a consequence, one cannot extrapolate properties of general biogenic amines to p-synephrine just simply based on similar structures. As a consequence, safety is not really an issue because the p-synephrine binds much different to the biogenic to the adrenergic receptors. P-synephrine, we will show that p-synephrine binds very markedly different to adrenergic receptors and as a consequence does not produce the increases in heart rate or in blood pressure that are associated with many biogenic amines. Now, from a historical perspective, bitter orange is also known as green orange, Seville orange, orange sour, or zaishi. A whole series of products have been used from Citrus Aurantium, with the earliest dating back to the Chinese, who have used products for hundreds of years, particularly with respect to intestinal disorders. In South America, folk medicine has used Citrus Aurantium for anxiety, for insomnia, and for epilepsy. We sometimes fail to forget that a whole host of food products are developed from bitter orange, such as marmalades, syrups, and juices. Furthermore, extensive use of extracts has been made in the last 20 years or so with respect to weight management, weight loss, as well as sports performance products, as for example Advantra Z, a patented bitter orange product from Citrus Aurantium by Nutritech Incorporated. You should keep in mind that products are standardized to a specific percentage of p-synephrine in these Citrus Aurantium products, which are listed then subsequently on the supplement facts or the food facts panels. Now, with respect to why we are interested in looking at Citrus Aurantium, over 2/3 of the adult human population in the United States are either overweight or obese, with approximately 50% of women and 1/3 of men at any given time looking for weight loss solutions. Citrus Aurantium extracts have been used since the early 1900s for weight management, and this use has greatly increased in recent years. Please also keep in mind that citrus aurantium products are regulated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, and that citrus aurantium peel extracts are referred to as generally recognized as safe, or they have GRAS status. Again, the primary active constituent in citrus aurantium products is a compound known as p-synephrine. Now, with respect to the efficacy of p-synephrine and bitter orange in humans, over 20 published as well as unpublished human clinical studies have been conducted. These studies have involved the use of p-synephrine alone or in combination with other ingredients. If one summarizes the entire number of individuals involved in these studies, over 420 individuals have been involved. Approximately 2/3 of these individuals have been either overweight or obese. And interestingly enough, about 2/3 of the individuals involved in these studies have taken a product that involved caffeine as well. For example, caffeine content may have ranged from about 150 to over 520 milligrams per day, while the p-synephrine amounts range from about 12 milligrams up to a high of 59 milligrams per day. Most of these studies were, in terms of length, ranged from 24 hours up to as long as 12 weeks. Now, with regard to these studies, weight loss was observed when these bitter orange extract p-synephrine containing products were given for 6 to 12 weeks. P-synephrine alone has been shown to produce an increase in resting metabolism or resting metabolic rate and energy expenditure. In other words, we're talking about an increase in calorie burning or calorie consumption. The results also have clearly demonstrated that p-synephrine, when used in combination with other products or by itself, does not produce adverse events such as an increase in heart rate or blood pressure or alter serum chemistries or even result in changes in urinalysis. One example I can give you of one of these studies involved 23 mildly obese subjects who were involved in a placebo-controlled crossover design type of study. Each subject received 3 capsules of a synephrine-containing product on day 1 and 1 capsule on day 2. The total ingestion of synephrine, the p-synephrine, was 52 milligrams, and the total caffeine consumption was over 700 milligrams. And data was then collected after the last dose of the product. Calorie expenditure increased by 8%. And the reason this research design was used was to approximate the normal use of synephrine-containing products. The increase in energy expenditure was determined by measuring the increase in oxygen consumption or oxygen uptake. In this study, no increase in heart rate or blood pressure was observed. Now, how does p-synephrine work? That is where some uncertainty has existed in the past. However, recent data clearly shows that p-synephrine binds to what is known as the beta-3 adrenergic receptors. Beta-3 adrenergic receptors are involved in thermogenesis and the breakdown of stored fat. These studies have been shown by a number of investigators over the past 10 years. What has also been clearly shown is that p-synephrine does not bind or binds very poorly to alpha, beta-1, and beta-2 adrenergic receptors. These receptors are involved with heart rate and blood pressure. So, very poor binding results in essentially no increase in heart rate or blood pressure. With respect to sports performance, a study was conducted several years ago involving a product that contained 21 milligrams of synephrine and 300 milligrams of caffeine in combination with several other ingredients. What was measured was energy consumption and effect on exercise before and under resting conditions and after moderately intense exercise. The exercise was rated as being less difficult approximately 83% of the time when using the supplement. No adverse effects were observed in this study. One of the most definitive studies on safety and efficacy is one in which we recently completed involving a double-blinded, placebo-controlled crossover design. 16 subjects, human subjects, were used. The subjects all took a product, Advantra Z, which contained 49 milligrams of p-synephrine or placebo for 15 days. What was measured was blood pressure, heart rate, electrocardiograms, blood chemistry, blood counts, as well as several other parameters. These were monitored over the course of the 15 days. In summary, no unusual symptoms were reported in either the control group or the treated group. Furthermore, we also measured the p-synephrine concentrations in all of the subjects so that we were assured that the subjects were in fact taking the product. No, there were no significant changes in diastolic blood pressure, systolic blood pressure, heart rates, blood counts, blood chemistries, EKGs, and the enzyme chemistries that were done indicated there were no effects on such organs or tissues such as liver or kidney. As a consequence, it is quite clear from these studies that p-synephrine and Citrus Aurantium extracts are exceedingly safe and are devoid of cardiovascular toxicities or other toxicities. Now, a major change has occurred in Canada with respect to the use of p-synephrine and Citrus Aurantium products. The Health Products Directorate of Health Canada has recently released a health risk assessment report involving not only p-synephrine but caffeine, which redefines and really relaxes the previous guidelines for the use of these ingredients. The new guidelines allow up to 50 milligrams per day of p-synephrine in healthy adults, or 40 milligrams per day in combination with up to 320 milligrams of caffeine. As a consequence, it is clear from the Health Canada report, which very extensively reviewed the world's literature, that p-synephrine and Citrus Aurantium extract are exceedingly safe. One should keep in mind that Health Canada is really equivalent to the United States Food and Drug Administration. Now, what about animal studies? One example of a study involved the use of mice in which extracts of Citrus Aurantium containing 7.5% of p-synephrine corresponding to 30, 150, and 300 milligrams per kilogram of p-synephrine. In addition, doses of 30 and 300 milligrams of pure p-synephrine were given daily for up to 28 days. What was shown in these studies was that there were decreases in body weights at all doses relative to the control group, which did not receive p-synephrine. Furthermore, there were no effects on organ weights, blood chemistries, heart rates, or blood pressures. Another interesting finding of this study was that it showed that p-synephrine and citrus aurantium increased the liver levels of reduced glutathione and also increased the enzyme catalase while reducing an enzyme known as glutathione peroxidase. The net effect of these results is that the results demonstrated rather clearly that Citrus Aurantium extracts as well as p-synephrine exhibited antioxidant and tissue protective effects. Now, one of the most definitive studies with respect to safety and efficacy of p-synephrine and citrus aurantium has recently been conducted by the National Institutes of Environmental Health Sciences in conjunction with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Pregnant rats were treated with up to 100 milligrams of p-synephrine per day for 20 days, and the animals were then subsequently examined for toxicities. What the results clearly showed was that there was no evidence of fetal lethality, fetal toxicities, no malformations, and no other indications of toxicity. This occurred, these results were obtained at doses that were up to 20 times the human typical daily dose. And so the bottom line is the results clearly demonstrated a lack of toxicity and a high degree of safety of both bitter orange extract and p-synephrine. Of interest was the fact that the maternal body weights decreased as well, showing and indicating that these products were able to aid in weight loss and weight management. Now, some other considerations. One should be aware that millions of people daily consume juices and food products as marmalades that are derived from citrus species, including such things as the Seville orange, grapefruit, mandarin orange, or other orange species that contain p-synephrine. For example, juices from mandarin oranges, clementines, and Mars sweet oranges contain approximately 100 milligrams of p-synephrine per liter, and if one extrapolates that to an 8-ounce glass of orange juice from these particular orange species, that is about 20 to 25 milligrams of p-synephrine per glass. And finally, one should keep in mind that tens of millions of doses of bitter orange extract containing p-synephrine have been consumed in recent years by literally millions of individuals with no reports of serious adverse events. So, in summary, we can conclude that a wide variety of human clinical studies as well as animal studies involving bitter orange extract and p-synephrine, either alone or in combination with other ingredients, have demonstrated efficacy in terms of weight loss and weight management. Furthermore, these studies have clearly shown that there are no adverse effects such as cardiovascular effects associated with these products. Human studies and animal studies have demonstrated that p-synephrine then in general is exceedingly safe, and Advantra Z has been one of the primary ingredients and products used in these studies. The data also show that p-synephrine increases energy expenditure and does so by binding to beta-3 adrenergic receptors. And furthermore, p-synephrine has little or no binding effect to the beta-1, beta-2, and alpha adrenergic receptors, and as a consequence does not exhibit adverse cardiovascular effects. So, again, no serious adverse effects or events have ever been directly attributed and associated with Citrus aurantium. And again, millions of individuals have consumed tens of millions of doses of products containing Citrus aurantium, such as Advantra Z. So, the bottom line is the fact that it's very clear that Citrus Aurantium Extract and p-synephrine are exceedingly safe, when used as directed and provide a significant increase in metabolism and metabolic rate, thus aiding in calorie burning and weight management.